In a distant galaxy, far from Earth, there lived many races of aliens, each more unique than the last. They thrived on their own planets, each with its own culture, technology, and struggles. Among these races were the Denarians, a species known for their intellect and advanced technology, and the Veltrans, powerful warriors with unmatched combat skills. For centuries, the Denarians and Veltrans had a tense relationship, often clashing over resources. In the middle of this animosity lay a third race known only as the Terrans, or as they were often called, the Deathworlders. World-renowned for their resilience, humans lived on a planet filled with dangers, from fierce animals to extreme weather conditions. This experience forged their strength, courage, and cleverness. Yet, most aliens saw them as inferior, believing they were too weak to play a significant role in galaxy affairs. One day, a dark shadow loomed over the galaxy. An ancient alien empire, the Cthari, awakened from centuries of slumber. They were driven by destruction, seeking to conquer and harvest planets across the galaxy. Their power was immense, their technology far beyond anything the other races possessed. As they started to invade, the Denarians and Veltrans realized they had to join forces to survive. On the planet Xylar Prime, the leaders gathered. Ambassador Thale of the Denarians stood tall, his silver skin gleaming under the bright lights of the council room. The Veltran general, Rigger, was a stocky figure, his eyes sharp and bright. They both knew that their old rivalries must be set aside. "We cannot fight the Cthari alone," Thale said, his voice calm yet forceful. "We must unite our forces and find a way to stop them." Rigger grunted in agreement. "But how?" "They will crush us without a second thought." As the discussion continued, a young Denarian engineer named Khalees had an idea. He had been studying the Cthari's previous attacks and noticed that their ships had a weak spot. "If we can pinpoint their flagship, we might be able to strike a decisive blow," he suggested. "But we'll need a powerful warship," Rigger interjected, crossing his arms. "Our fleets are not equipped for such a battle." Before anyone could reply, a soft voice emerged from the shadows. It belonged to Lena, a human pilot known for her sharp reflexes and unmatched flying skills. "Perhaps I can help," she suggested, walking into the light. "I heard you're planning. If we work together, I can lead a crew to penetrate their defenses." Thale looked at Lena with skepticism. "You? A Deathworlder?" Lena smiled, her eyes sparkling with determination. "Yes, me. Humans know how to survive against odds. We thrive in chaos. Let us surprise them." After some debate, the council agreed. Lena assembled a diverse crew of both Denarians and Veltrans aboard a sleek ship they called the Fury. They trained hard, teaching one another their different skills. The Denarians shared their technological knowledge, while the Veltrans taught combat techniques. Lena encouraged teamwork, reminding everyone that their combined strength would be their greatest weapon. A week passed, and soon the Fury was ready. The crew boarded, excitement and tension mingling in the air. Lena took her position at the helm. "All right, team. It's time to show them what we are made of." As the ship blasted into the stars, they could see the Cthari armada, dark and terrifying, surrounding their home planets. The crew's breath caught in their throats, but Lena kept her focus. "Stay calm. We have a plan," she assured them as they navigated through chaos. When the Fury approached, they remained hidden, cloaked by Denarian technology. Lena activated the sensors, scanning for the flagship. The crew held their breath, waiting for her command. "There it is," she exclaimed. The massive ship glowed with a haunting light, heavily guarded but vulnerable. Khalees quickly pointed to a spot on the screen. "If we strike there, we can disrupt their power core." With precision, Lena piloted the Fury toward the flagship. The crew worked as one, executing their plan flawlessly. Khalees coordinated their fire, while Rigger led the offensive team in disabling the Cthari defenses. Blasts rang out, and the ship shook with impact, but the crew held steady. Jennifer, a skilled sharpshooter, took out enemy fighters one by one, showcasing her swift reflexes. As they got closer, alarms blared from the flagship. "They've found us," Rigger shouted. The Cthari fleet turned towards them, firing relentlessly. Lena steered the Fury, dodging fire with expert maneuvers. "We can't keep this up," shouted one of the crew members, panic rising. "Stay focused," Lena commanded, her voice cutting through the fear. "We're almost there." As their ship approached, Rigger and his team prepared to board the flagship. With one final burst, they blasted through an entry point. Smoke filled the interior as they stormed in, weapons ready. They encountered Cthari guards, and a fierce battle ensued. The Denarians and Veltrans fought back-to-back, while Lena coordinated their attacks from ship. With quick thinking and teamwork, they pushed forward. Lena's bravery inspired everyone around her. "For our homes!" she cried, rallying the troops. After intense fighting, they reached the power core chamber. Cullis quickly worked to disable the core, while Rigger defended him against Cthari attacks. As the core shut down, a series of explosions rocked the flagship. "Time to leave," Lena shouted over chaos. They fled back to the Fury, narrowly escaping the explosion that followed. As they soared away, the crew looked back at the Cthari flagship, now engulfed in flames. The remaining fleet scattered, retreating in fear. They had done it. The unity of Denarians, Veltrans, and Deathworlders had turned the tide of the battle. Back on Xylar Prime, they were greeted as heroes. The once rival races celebrated together, their stories now intertwined forever. No longer were the Deathworlders seen as weak. Instead, they became symbols of hope and resilience. Thale and Rigger stood beside Lena, acknowledging her vital contribution. "The galaxy will remember this day," Thale said. "We have learned that unity is our greatest strength." Lena smiled, looking around at her friends. "Together, we can face any darkness." And so, the alliance of Deathworlders and aliens changed the galaxy forever, reminding all that sometimes the most surprising heroes are those who rise from the most unexpected places. Captain Eva Rostova, Xylar, Grok, Ambassador Vrook. Here's the story. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with nervous energy. Holographic representatives flickered, their forms shimmering with anxiety. For centuries, the galaxy had enjoyed an era of unprecedented peace, maintained by the Council's diverse member species. But now, a threat loomed. The KRYL, a hive-mind race known for their insatiable hunger and ruthless efficiency, were sweeping across the outer systems. "Our defenses are failing," Ambassador Vrook, a Salusian with iridescent skin and sorrowful eyes, reported. "The KRYL adapt too quickly. Their bioships are impervious to our energy weapons. We are losing entire planets." A murmur of despair rippled through the chamber. The Salusians were renowned for their strategic brilliance. If even they were losing hope, the situation was dire indeed. Suddenly, a new hologram flickered into existence. It was Captain Eva Rostova, a human from Earth, the newest and arguably most perplexing member of the Galactic Council. Humans, or Deathworlders, as they were sometimes called, were a source of endless fascination and bewilderment to the other species. They were physically frail compared to many, yet possessed a stubborn resilience and a penchant for violence that was both terrifying and strangely admirable. Eva's image was stark against the ornate backdrop of the council chamber. She stood on the bridge of her ship, the Dauntless, her face grim but resolute. "Council members," she began, her voice clear and steady, "we have been monitoring the KRYL advance. We believe we have a solution." A skeptical silence fell over the chamber. The humans had only been members of the council for a few decades. What could they possibly offer that the more established species had not already tried? "Explain," demanded a gruff voice. It was Grok, a Krogan warrior, his massive, scale form radiating impatience. "The KRYL bioships," Eva said, "are vulnerable to kinetic weapons. Their shields are designed to deflect energy, not solid projectiles. We propose a series of mass driver platforms, strategically placed to intercept the KRYL invasion fleets." The council members exchanged dubious glances. Kinetic weapons were considered archaic, a relic of a bygone era. They were slow and inaccurate, and easily countered by modern shielding. "That's insane," Grok bellowed. "Kinetic weapons? We abandoned those millennia ago." "Precisely," Eva replied calmly. "The KRYL won't expect it. They'll be caught completely off guard." Ambassador Vrook, ever the pragmatist, intervened. While unorthodox, Captain Rostova's proposal warrants consideration. We are running out of options. After a heated debate, the Council reluctantly agreed to allow the humans to proceed. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Eva and her crew wasted no time. They coordinated with human engineers and technicians across the galaxy to construct the mass driver platforms. These were colossal structures, capable of launching projectiles the size of small asteroids at incredible speeds. Meanwhile, Eva tasked her science officer, Xyler, a brilliant but eccentric alien from a nebula-dwelling species, with a critical mission. Xyler, she said, I need you to find a way to disrupt the KRYL hive mind. If we can break their connection, we can cripple their coordination. Xyler, his bioluminescent eyes gleaming with excitement, accepted the challenge. He spent weeks locked in his lab, poring over data and conducting bizarre experiments. Finally, he emerged, his antennae twitching with triumph. I've found it, Captain, he exclaimed. A specific frequency of sonic vibration can overload their neural network. It will be like a mental shock wave. The KRYL invasion was relentless. Wave after wave of bioships poured into the galaxy, consuming everything in their path. The Council's forces fought bravely, but they were steadily pushed back. Planets fell, civilizations crumbled. Then, the humans launched their counterattack. The mass driver platforms roared to life, launching their massive projectiles towards the KRYL fleets. The KRYL, caught completely by surprise, had no defense. The kinetic rounds tore through their bioships, ripping them apart like paper. The KRYL ships exploded in spectacular bursts of organic matter. The tide of the war began to turn. But the KRYL were not easily defeated. They adapted quickly, developing countermeasures to the kinetic bombardment. The mass driver platforms became less effective. That's when Xyler unleashed his sonic weapon. A wave of intense sound, calibrated to the precise frequency, washed over the KRYL fleets. The effect was immediate and devastating. The KRYL ships began to drift aimlessly, their movements erratic and uncoordinated. The hive mind was shattered. The remaining Council forces seized the opportunity. They pressed their attack, exploiting the KRYL's confusion. The KRYL, deprived of their collective intelligence, were routed. The invasion was broken. The galaxy rejoiced. In the aftermath of the war, the Galactic Council chamber was filled with a sense of awe and gratitude. Ambassador Vrook approached Eva, his iridescent skin glowing with admiration. Captain Rostova, he said, you and your people have saved us all. We underestimated you. We were wrong. Grok, the Krogan warrior, stepped forward. Deathworlder, he said, his voice surprisingly respectful. You have proven your worth. You have the heart of a warrior and the mind of a strategist. I salute you. Eva accepted their praise with a humble nod. We did what we had to do, she said. We are all in this together. The victory over the KRYL marked a turning point for humanity in the galaxy. They were no longer seen as just another species, but as heroes. Their unique blend of resilience, ingenuity, and a touch of madness had saved the galaxy from annihilation. However, the war had also revealed a deeper truth about humanity. Their capacity for violence, born from their harsh and unforgiving homeworld, was a double-edged sword. It had made them formidable warriors, but also carried potential for destruction. As the galaxy rebuilt, the humans faced a new challenge: to learn to control their own nature, to temper their strength with wisdom, and to use their power for the good of all. Eva knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but she was confident that humanity could rise to the occasion. After all, they were Deathworlders. They had survived the harshest environments, overcome the greatest challenges, and now they had saved the galaxy. And as Eva looked out at the assembled representatives of the Galactic Council, she knew that the future of the galaxy, for better or worse, was now inextricably linked to the fate of humanity.